combining both our May and our June meetings, and that meeting will take place later this week. We also have, for the Arts Commission, again, that big reception tomorrow, free over at Centennial Center starting at 6:30 p.m. You'll be some of the first to see the new art that the city will be purchasing. And the concerts. We have coming up Leroy Bell and his group, and also the Not It's, the West Coast Feed, and Blue Moon Marquee. So many others coming. Take a look at the entertainment offered free. Some of that is in the afternoon time for families. Some of it is in the evening time so you can kick back and relax. Good music, come out and enjoy it. And then for Public Works, we had an agreement approved to be able, or moved on to council to be able to have on-call garbage pickup. The big deal about that is you pass by or maybe live by some of the encampments. These are the companies that go out and we'll call them and be able to do that cleanup for us on the spot. So it'll get faster. You're not going to have every single one done because there is a dollar limit that we'll be working within, but you will be seeing an improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to quickly say, our council member, you look at all of the cities in the King County, we have our council member probably at the table more than any other council. They're really trying to represent the city. And you hear Brianna talks about some of the things that the staff do. But I also want to take a moment to give credit to our mayor, right? During this session, I know there was lots of meetings. She was going back and forth and testifying. And it really starts at the top with her leadership. So I want to make sure we recognize you for your leadership. And really, she is homegrown in Kent, and she loved the city of Kent, and really everything she do, she put Kent at the forefront. So I want to say thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. I appreciate that very much. All right. As you can see, your council is very busy out and about in the region representing you, and that is a very good thing. That brings us to the end of reports. Next item is public hearing. We do not have one this evening, so that brings us down to public comment. Public comment period is an opportunity to speak to the council and the mayor on issues that relate to the business of the city of Kent or agenda items the council will consider at this meeting. Comments that do not relate to the business of the city of Kent are not permitted, and additionally, I do want to remind everyone that state law prohibits using public comment period to support or oppose a ballot measure or a candidate for office. We do have a 3-minute timer that will come up on the screen while you're speaking, and if once your name is called, if you come up to the podium, give us your name and city of residence for the record. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kim, our clerk, to call the speakers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first speaker I have is Mike Fitzsimmons.
So my name is Mike Fitzsimmons. I live in Kent. I live in the Meridian Valley Country Club neighborhood, and my property, my house, is adjacent to the country club, the golf club's tennis courts that were recently converted to 4 pickleball courts. Now, one of my neighbors came here a little over a year ago and briefed the council. At that time, the courts weren't active. They were being built, and we had engineering studies that suggested they were going to be too loud. They're going to be 62 decibels. The city of Kent allows 55, but nothing can be done because they hadn't actually started yet. We engaged with the club, the golf club, as best we could, and there's been lots of communication, 20, 30 emails back and forth. We suggested they do before actually opening, they do a demonstration, get the courts active, and we'll get out there with their meters and we'll all compare notes and talk about how loud is too loud. They did in fact do this, but they did not invite the homeowners. They did their own measuring. They measured at 3 locations, and they reported an average noise level of 63 decibels. So they know it's louder than the 55 they're allowed. They said, okay, we got this, but let's try some real-world experience. Maybe it'll be different in the real world. Let's go forward with a trial period and see what happens. And they said, we're all neighbors here. If adjustments need to happen, work with us, and we'll see what happens. So in August of last year, they had a soft opening, and in September, they opened for real. And the noise levels measured on my property got as high as 68 or 69 decibels. One of my neighbor's properties was higher than 70 decibels. And chairperson of the Meridian Valley Country Club board was invited to my neighbor's house, and he stood there and watched the play, looked at the meter, saw the 70 decibels, and he eventually came back to us and said, only seems to be that loud when all four courts are busy, which isn't true right now, and it's winding down for the season, so let's talk about it next year when it starts up again. So limited play in the winter. This spring, about 6 or 7 weeks ago, actually for a while it had been building up until then, but 6 or 7 weeks ago I sent an email to the club and said, oh, by the way, the club set the hours from 10 to 5:30 so as not to impact the homeowner's ability to, have a meal on their back deck or whatever. We sent an email to the club saying, we need to talk. It's picking up again. It's getting more popular. The noise is every bit as bad as it was before. Are you willing to consider some things like quiet equipment? And they sent me an email saying, we'll get back to you as soon as we have a board meeting in a few days, in a few days or whatever. And they've been silent for about 6 weeks now. But in the interim, they decided to extend the hours to 7 o'clock at night, so 5:30 to 7, and they are actively promoting an open men's play from 5 to 7 on Tuesdays, ladies from 5 to 7 on Wednesdays, and couples from 5 to 7 on Saturdays. So they know they're too loud, they're encroaching in our quiet enjoyment of our property, and they are silent currently on working with us. So that's all the time I have. I could stand up here for hours. I suspect I would be back for multiple meetings giving you 3-minute doses of this. But I just wanted to bring you up to speed from where we were, whatever it was, 14 months ago.
Thank you. Council President?
Mike, are you inside the club, Mike, your house?
Yeah, my house is directly, I'm about...
You want to sit up high on it?
I do.
Okay. Who's the president of the association right now?
The president of the association. You're going to ask me a tough question. I know this, but because you asked me, I'm going to freeze.
Well, you can let me know if you think about it before you leave. Okay. You can let me know before you leave if you think of it.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
thank
yeah.
you. Yep.
Is that it?
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Jennifer Gray.
Jan Lewis.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I was outside my 3 minutes. I apologize.
Yep, thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Gray. I both live and reside at the Village of Newport Apartments, which is located next to the Star Lake Park and Ride up near I-5. It is in the Kent boundaries, but only just. I'm in a unique position in that I both have lived there for 14 years as a resident and have worked there for 6.5 years as an employee. I have felt safe there until recently when the pandemic and a homeless encampment popped up on the other side of our eastern property line. I know that most of the homeless people are harmless, but last month a resident informed me that one walked out in broad daylight with an 18-inch machete from the very back of the apartment complex to the front of the street. And I am now scared to leave my apartment at any time of the day. If someone were to get hurt, the responsibility would no doubt fall upon the management. My manager could lose his livelihood, and per my contract, I could lose my home and be required to leave within 2 weeks. I'm in a strange place as residents don't have to confront the homeless problem directly, but I do, and we've done everything that we can think of to counteract this problem. The property has been cleared out, but there's both private and public land, and they come back. The private land was cleared 2 weeks ago, but there's already garbage piling up again. And I have pictures if people would like to see them. And ultimately, my question is, what will be done to stop people from coming back to this location? As this same resident who informed me about the individual with the machete said that he overheard 2 people talking, saying that one of them was told to come over here from Bellevue. And they're also getting hookups from different charities. One came from Tacoma and one came down from Seattle just this last Friday. So they're being enabled to stay there, and it's simply unacceptable. And Gina will have more comments to elaborate on this, but I thank you for your time. That is all.
Jennifer, thank you for coming. Kim's got your contact information. I will make sure that we get it over to Commander O'Reilly, who is our commander in charge of this area, and we'll put the two of you in contact, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
If you would like to sign up, we will go right through the list of speakers signed up on the sign-up sheet.
Right here.
So you can come right up here to the clerk's office, or the clerk's desk. No, it's all right. Kim, while you're doing that, you want to call the next speaker?
Next speaker is Chris Smith, followed by Gina Simmons. You're welcome. Here you go.
Okay, my name is Chris Smith, and just like Jennifer there, I live at the Village of Newport Apartments in Kent, up by the Star Lake Park and Ride. And my main thing to bring up has to do with the homeless that Jenny was talking about. And then because I come in at late hours, I'm one of those overnight workers, and I do see them using our parking lot as their entrance and exit. They are walking through there, and I've also seen them inspecting the cars, not like I watch them, but just driving through there, I can see that, okay, are they really getting ready to take something out or take the whole thing? And it isn't really like any of us are feeling safe while they are on the other side of the fence. And even my wife had brought up about how many times that the fire department has had to go and extinguish. And we thought it would be a nice area. I mean, something you get used to is airplanes going over top, but that's a part of where you live. But then should we start having a homeless camp near us being a part of what we live with? Because we can't really feel safe there when we watch them go by and they know our dumpster's there where they can go through. Can we leave our personal property, not just vehicles, but anybody actually having anything that they keep on their patio? Do we know it's still going to be there tomorrow? Is there anything that can be done about making sure this homeless camp gets cleaned out like it does? But does it actually stay cleaned out? And then, just like was brought to my attention too, how charities are coming to supply them with whatever they need. Are they being encouraged to stay there for that reason? Because those charities know that they're there. And being private property and public property, can anything be done to clean them out, but also let the private property owner know that, okay, why are you letting these people stay? That's the main thing that I wanted to go ahead and emphasize. And then, like I said, I am coming in at late hours, so I see that they're coming through there not just in the day, but they're using the nighttime to come in and out. So maybe it might be a good idea that not just circling in the day to watch what they're doing, but at a 24-hour type of an action. Because I wouldn't mind going ahead and living in a place that's safe, but I can't guarantee that when you've got homeless people that could be there at any time. And it's okay for them to do that? Not that I know of.
Thank you. We will definitely get Commander O'Reilly in touch with you, Jennifer.
Next speaker is Gina Simmons, followed by Jean Smith.
Hi, my name is Gina Simmons, and I am a resident at the Village of Newport. I've been living there for the past 2.5 years, and I moved here from Los Angeles, California. I chose Kent Reason being is because it's a cultural center of Washington State, and I just felt like this was a place that I would feel comfortable raising my child, in an environment that was safe. For the past 2 years, there's been a large homeless encampment, people living next to us, in a secluded area surrounded by a burned down house, along with several trees. It's extremely dark at night. Knowing this has caused lots of anxiety, distrust of people, frustration, agitation, and terrified that someone's going to get hurt. The homeless has made this their desired place to live. It's once started off extremely small and turned into something rather big overnight. We as residents have heard yelling day and night, cussing, shots fired, people screaming for help, people running from the back end of the apartments, police being called out, rarely showing up. Fire department shows up at least every 2 to 4 days to put out a fire that the homeless have started. Cars being broken into, stolen off the property. Needles with drugs still in them placed on our windshields of our cars. People are taking up parking spaces because they're parking on our property and sleeping in their cars, tearing down our fence that separates us from them. The search and rescue people recently showed up, parked in our parking lot, and were handing out items to the homeless. Saying we are tired of this is an understatement. We do not feel safe. The air we breathe has caused a lot of sickness to us tenants because of the toxic chemicals that are either being burned or smoked out on a daily basis. We can't even open our windows or sliding glass doors because the smell is so overpowering and fills up our residence rather quickly. There are different age groups of people living here: seniors, young adults, and children like myself. While there was once a time people could actually go outside and enjoy the fresh air, now it's to the point where no one wants to be out with the fear of something happening to them or their property. The reason why I'm here today is because we are taking a stand, asking the City Council to help do something with this current situation and the concerns that we have as tenants. We don't want to just be told something is going to be done and it doesn't happen for another 6 months. This is a desperate plea to the City Council to take into account what hardworking individuals like myself, because I work from home, I actually schedule for a hospital, and are dealing on a daily basis, and get some control over the situation.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next speaker is Gene Smith, followed by David Street.
Yes, my name is Eugene Smith. I've been with the Village Newport myself since 2005. And I can say I had nothing to fear. Like, people come home from work, I'm retired now, come home late, the only thing I had to fear was a raccoon in our dumpster. Or maybe some rats going across the road. But now we got some big rats going across the road now. I know they need help, but they shouldn't come in. These vendors shouldn't come in to enable these people to come to our complex. There's a fence. They need to stay on that side. It's really frustrating. I'm angry. I get people asking me for money, loose change, you got a cigarette. I can't go outside late like I used to walk my dogs. And it's not fair. And someone needs to take care of it. We try best we can. Like these others say, they call Blue Line to get these cars towed out. We get raggedy old vans with plastic on the windows that park in our lot in front. And like she said, we're being threatened now in our own neighborhood? Is that fair? So I have to worry about myself, my 2 dogs, and if I have a car tomorrow. Because these cars are getting, like they say, stolen, taken apart, broke in, whatever. I have seen cars there with all 4 wheels jacked up and they're gone, along with the hood and some other stuff. And all we can do is, like they say, call the police, and hopefully they come by. But if you say the three-letter word, G-U-N, guess what? They're there. So what are we supposed to do? Think about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Mary Huff, followed by Chris Van Dyke.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Mary Huff. I've been at the Village of Newport since 2016. When I got there, everything was beautiful, okay? Soon as COVID hit, we had all these homeless people. You know, I live in A4. I'm the first entrance. When you come in my building, I'm the first one will see you, okay? I see them all. I have my cameras out there. I'm watching them. They got people coming in. They got people with security jacket on, pretending they're security, going up to our cars, touching the doors, okay? They're sitting up here selling drugs. They're coming, parking on our parking lots in front of us, and we can't do nothing about it. Okay, we'll talk and we'll say, oh, okay, you guys are going to come, you're going to take care of this problem. And then they have the nerve to clean it out. And then I'm assuming Sound Transit built a walkway for them to come right back in there? Like, what was the purpose? How much money did you guys have to spend to have those people? I watched them for 2 weeks. I sit there and watch them like, oh, thank God, they're getting them out of there. They're gone. Do you know they're back? They got their tents back in there. They're telling you, we don't care what you do. We're going to do our drugs. They come over there. They got young people parking in the front, getting out their cars, going straight over there. I know they're doing drugs. They're there for 10 minutes. They're back. Everybody's back. Everybody know what a drug deal is. Okay. Why we have to put up with that? Do you know how much money we spend to be where we're at? And this is what we get. Okay? Nobody has to live that. You know what I tell you? Hey, you need to have them come to your house. Everybody needs to see what it's like, how they wreak havoc. Okay? That's what they do. Okay? Everybody, you have all these programs. You want to help them. I work for some place that they provide them things to smoke. They provide needles, okay? These people are off the grid. They don't have ID. They don't have social security numbers. They don't want, you know why? Because they have done things. You don't know if they're rapists, murderers. You don't know what you got over there. Because nobody, it's like, they don't need to know. You guys ain't concerned. You guys get over there, be taking everybody's fingerprints over there. See what are they hiding? They doing nothing but crime. They come in, they just touching the cars, they breaking into. In the middle of the night, they're in there rolling. They have their little cars and little things, and they're rolling, taking stuff. Okay, messing with, just seeing if if they left packages at their door. They do this. This is a constant thing that they do. All these things and nobody is like, and how dare them clean it out? And for them to come right back. So what was the purpose? And why would you spend taxpayers' money like that? I don't understand. Make the money, make it work. Make it help everybody here. We're all victims.
Next speaker is Chris Van Dyke, followed by Richard J. Brown.
My name is Chris Van Dyke. I live on the third floor, B29, on the west side of the complex. And imagine my surprise when the leaves fell off. I've been there about 18 months, and the first fall, when the leaves were gone, I realized there was a little city next to us. So I'm a lobbyist, one of my professions, and I decided, well, maybe I'll take this one on. It looks like the city of Kent's being rather negligent here, allowing this to go forward. But I kind of thought, well, I don't want to, I'm an old man, I don't want to go down picking on the homeless. But I don't think these folks are homeless out of need. They're homeless out of want. And so I did a little checking in the law under Chapter 8, the environmental chapter for City of Kent. You actually cite, it's RCW, oh wait, here it is, prohibited conduct, 801.020 under Kent Municipal Code. A violation of this chapter for any person to permit, create, maintain, or allow upon the premises any of the acts or things declared in blah, 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 blah. It's interesting. The person here is defined to include a corporation. And as you all know, the City of Kent is a municipal corporation, and you are responsible for that property. So the things that are not allowed under your own ordinance, following conditions, unless otherwise permitted by law, declared to constitute a public nuisance. Existence of any trash, dirt, filth, carcass, manure, rubbish, yard trimmings, erecting, maintaining, using, placing, depositing, or leaving anything which may be smelled from outside the premises. Any putrid, unhealthy, unwholesome bones, meats, hides, dead animal, fish, or fowl. Any privies, vaults, cesspools, open containers, stagnant water, stumps, pits, light places. Accumulation of material, including but not limited to bottles, cans, glass, plastic, ashes, scrap, so on and so forth. And from my wonderful view in my third floor apartment that I pay a premium for, happily, I have wonderful neighbors, it's a wonderful community. I look down over the dumpsters, and those I can ignore because we're paying for them, we're maintaining them, and we're keeping them closed. But I look down in the valley there, and that is your problem. So imagine how happy I am to read in this same ordinance that as a citizen, I can take action against you as stewards of that land. And I fully intend to do that. So you're in violation of your own laws. You need to step up, do what has to be done. I know the homeless is a difficult problem, but you've got lots of resources here in Kent, and we, all 200 of us, 200 voters in that little precinct, and our kids, we all pay taxes, and we deserve better than this.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Richard Brown, followed by the final speaker, Teresa Ferguson.
Thank you, City Council, for having us today. We appreciate your time. My name is Richard Brown. I am the manager of the complex. And as you guys have heard, we have a very serious problem. And I am not going to get into a lot of details because they've covered quite a bit this evening. So I don't want to necessarily belabor the point. But every single day, our safety is compromised. Every day. We as staff members go out. And we go out to protect the residents. We go out there and we don't have guns. We don't have any of this stuff. We don't know what these people have. And we want our residents to be safe. And so we fight for that. And we tell these folks to get off the property because you never know what, again, we're not against homeless per se. It is what it is. But at the same point in time, we would love to figure out what can be done, and we want to know what the City Council can do to help us with that. We're willing to join hands and partner with the City Council, but it's a very sad day. Is one of us going to get shot? Is one of us going to get killed? I don't know. But at the end of the day, we want to provide a community for folks that they can feel proud about. So that's one of our number one concerns. So we do have, there are some residents that live there that they have chosen to, at certain times of the night, to go ahead and, well, they'll carry a pistol with them. They're licensed to do so, but, well, they don't feel safe. And so that's the option that they've chosen to go with. And so somebody had just on a different note, somebody had a great idea. There's that green belt behind the city, or behind the fence over there, 272nd Street. Why not turn that into a park of some sort? Turn that into some open land that can be used for the public. It's just an idea, something to think about. So I guess I'll just leave you with this. There's so much to be said, and I understand, if you don't live there, you don't know, and this is not South Central LA, but I will say, every day we're risking our lives to be there, and it's serious. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, who is the best contact, Ms. Gray or yourself?
Me, call me.
Okay. And did you leave your phone number on that sheet? Okay. But before our last speaker, I do want to let you know that we do have, it's up to this point only been 2 officers available to work on homelessness issues in the entire city of Kent. So not as an excuse. We are gratefully finally coming out of the loss of 30% of our police officers over the last couple of years and starting to build these units back up. We also have a team of our human service providers that work with outreach folks. Had a meeting today with the Salvation Army around the work that they're doing. And you have my commitment to work with both Commander O'Reilly and our human services department starting tomorrow to see what we can do about finding some solutions. Okay.
So I apologize. I skipped over one speaker, David Street.
I'm not a big speaker, but I just wanted to say that I'm here to support all the rest of the people. I live in the East End, so I don't see as much of it, but I have been scared a couple times at night of people hiding in the bushes by the hot tub and stuff like that, that we go into privately. And but I don't see as much of it. But I know that it's been a concern of ours and seeing what happened to the fence. So we haven't seen this and this, and then even my restaurant roommate, he said, well, things were cleaned up the other day, but they came back and went to the other end of the fences, and so it still is it's always been safe, and I've been there the longest of this group. There's no doubt about it. And the last thing I wanted to say is thank you for what you guys do, because I spent 6 wonderful years working for the city of Kent and running Russell Road Park and running a summer camp for kids that no other city does. It's for outdoor, it's for kids, resident camps, not just for day camp. And so my years here were very wonderful, and I have lived there for a long time, and want to keep living there safely. So thank you for looking into this.
Thank you.
So our last speaker is Teresa Ferguson.
Good afternoon, or good evening, I should say. I work at a hospital, so I'm a little tired, but I'm really happy to be here because the commitment really should come from the community. I've been at the Village of Newport for 12 years now. When I first moved there, it's absolutely beautiful. I could look out my windows. Jen and Richard are exemplary managers. But I have seen it go down the drain. And I don't mean to make the court laugh today, but I've never heard my alarm go off on my car. So I'm assuming it's someone else's at, I think it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, my God, why don't somebody call the police? What's going on? It was my car. And I went out there. I'm be 69 in September. At 2 o'clock in the morning, my daughter's like, Mom, you don't go outside at that time in the morning. What is, but I had to turn the alarm off. That somebody had popped the hood on my car. And I noticed when I first moved there, I don't know if Richard and Jen know, but we had 2 parking areas where police used to sit there. We never had any problems when those officers were sitting in that parking lot. I never heard loud music. people with beer cans sitting to the back. So there's a lot of activity at that building. And I agree with Richard. I really believe, since we're talking about all these billions of dollars out here, why can't Kent or lobbyists or government maybe take a peek at that and say, yeah, maybe there are a lot of children around there. Maybe we should build a park. And where I'm having some concerns is now the train?
Light rail.
I'm tired, so I might
It's
say
okay. It's okay.
It's coming. So that's going to be coming from downtown Seattle, I'm assuming. So we're going to get that influx also. So I can't figure out why there cannot be a cement wall at that entrance where they built that driveway so that nobody can go on that property and maybe somehow isolate that back area. I don't think it's going to cost billions of dollars. I really, really don't. So there needs to be an investment in the people that live in this community. There really does. And politicians, whatever, need to get in the hot seat about that. And I went to Highline Community College a long time ago, 90s. They said it's going to be about the haves and the have-nots. And we're the have-nots. We're not the haves. No, I'm not sitting up on here making 100,000. I might be a little close to the ballpark, but not 100,000 or plus. I don't know, 89. But it's not fair to just let people, because quote unquote, we're not living in affluent areas, to let people suffer like this. It's unnecessary, and the money's there to do something about it. So I'm praying, I'm asking God that you people take it into your heart. I'm over my time to address this. And not only at the Village of Newport, it's the area. It's the whole area. 272nd, 216th. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah. You have my commitment to circle up with our team in the morning.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kim, any other speakers?
No more.
All right. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We really appreciate and value the time that it takes to come down, and I can promise you the message has been heard, and we will get to work. Okay. Thank you. All right, that brings us to the end of public comment. Next item on our agenda is the consent calendar. It's a compilation of items that the City Council has considered at their committee meetings over the past several weeks, had presentations, ability to have a conversation, and these items have passed out of those committees without controversy. We have items A through K tonight. Is there a motion?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor of passing the consent calendar, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Item number 9 is other business. We do not have any other business this evening, so that brings us down to item 10, Washington Avenue South Stormwater Pump Station. Joining us is that's a lot. That's a lot in that title. Joining us is our Public Works Director, Chad Buren.
Thank you. Yeah, we should shorten some of these up, I suppose. I'll try and be brief. This is a project that we're completing to relocate a pump station, an existing stormwater pump station, to make way for improvements to the Signature Point levee. This is a project we've been working on with the flood district now for several years, and as we're moving closer toward trying to get the next interlocal agreement to work on a further design and then eventually construction of that levee, there are a couple items we need to move out of the way, and one of them is the Washington Avenue Pump Station, which was built about 20 years ago to make sure that the south end of the commercial area there around Willis and Washington Avenue continues to drain. So this really is, in a way, is a housekeeping item that we're able to relocate items on the Signature Point levee and get it ready to go. So again, shown in this picture, moving it from the west side of the river in the red there over into the east side on city-owned property. We had 4 bids we received. The low bidder was Rodarty Construction. They're out of Auburn. We've worked with them before. In fact, they did work on the James Street stormwater pump station several years back. Engineer's estimate was $4.6 million. We had a range, 4 bids ranging from $4 to $4.5 million, and Rodarty came in at the low bid of $4.06 million. So we are recommending award and moving forward.
All right, thank you, Chad. Any questions? All right, seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor, I move to award the Washington Avenue South Stormwater Pump Station Project to Rodarty Construction, Inc. in the amount of $4,063,673.19, and authorize the mayor to sign all necessary documents, subject to final terms and conditions acceptable to the city attorney and public works director.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Chad. That brings us down, item number 11, executive session. We do not have one this evening, so that is the bottom of our agenda. I want to say thank you again to everyone. Thank you to the residents that came and provided public comment this evening. And I think the best way to end this meeting is to say, let's go birds.
Hey, let's go birds.
We're adjourned.
Yeah.